episode. In today's episode, we're going to talk to you about golf equipment, and really, golf equipment as tools. And just like any tool, if you don't use it correctly, it's going to make your life very difficult. As we move through this video, we'll also talk about the bounce of your club and how it affects your motions. At the end of this episode, you should know more about the golf equipment and how it should work with your golf swing. We're going to go over the three components of the golf club that you should pay attention to. We're going to go over the design of the golf club, specifically with the irons and the woods, and how it affects your motions. And lastly, I'm going to let you know as an instructor what I see students do to compensate inefficient golf equipment for their swing. But before we get to that, if you do like this, hit that like and subscribe. And also in the comments, let us know if you have been fitted for golf clubs. Do they work for you? Why haven't you not been fitted if you decided not to do that? And if you have been fitted, has it really changed your game as much as we say it has? Let us know below. But let's get started. So let's talk about the loft, the lie, and the length of your golf club. So to keep it simple, the loft is the angle between the club face and the ground and is basically measured from the shaft to the club face. So it varies all the way from 2 degrees for your putter to 68 degrees for some high lofted wedges, which I don't recommend you use. So knowing that your putter is the strongest club in your bag, that is why we don't use much body in our motion with the putter. And all of these are your static lofts. So static loft means that when the club is not in motion, what it is like when it sits on the ground. Now how we affect it to become dynamic loft is what we do either in our setup or our golf swing when we either add or take away some of that loft through our motions. If you have incorrect loft for your motions, you will start to compensate by changing your golf swing. The lie angle is the angle between the ground and the club shaft when the club is sitting in a static position. Typically for the woods, it's 56 to 60 degrees. Hybrids are 58 to 62 degrees. You won't see as big of a variance because our arms typically hang from the same level. Now the things that could change this is the distance that we stand from our golf club. If we're standing too far from it, my lie angle might not be the same as if I'm standing very close to the golf ball. Also, the amount of bend we have forward can affect your lie angle. If you have forged irons versus cast irons, that can make a difference in what you can do to manipulate that lie angle because of the processing is different. A cast club, because it's a harder metal, cannot change a lie angle as much as a forged club because it's a softer metal. So forged clubs can move anywhere from 4 to 6 degrees. Cast clubs cannot move that much, and if you move them too much, you snap them. So just be careful of how you change your lie angle. Now how we affect that dynamic lie angle can be attributed to ball position, too much rotation, not enough rotation, standing up at impact, bending down at impact. So unless you have a repetitive motion like some of these tour professionals, their clubs are finely tuned to them because they can repeat their motions pretty close together. For the average golfer that cannot repeat their motions as much, this might not be the area that you need to change right away. But if you're working with a PGA golf professional that is really in tune to your swing and can give you directions, sometimes we might change a lie angle or loft as we're working into a motion to help promote that motion. And lastly, if you practice on the mats, be sure to check your lie angle and your loft every 6 months or so. Specifically if you're playing with forged clubs, they will start to bend on you without you even knowing it. The length of the club for the adults can vary anywhere from 45 inches for the driver all the way down to mid-20s if you want a very short putter. But if you have a club that's too long for you or too short for you, your posture will change, your address will change, your ball position will change, which will affect your rotation, which affects your center of balance. So a lot of these do play a part in each other. Now if you have a club that's too long, that's going to affect your lie angle. Then you'll start to adjust for that by either standing up in your golf swing, moving closer. So there's many things that can work against you if you don't have close enough golf clubs for you. So a basic fitting is all about lie, loft, and length. And this lie, loft, and length can also change your swing weight and your static weight of the golf club. So once you go down this rabbit hole, it can get pretty interesting. So you make sure you know what you're doing, because if you change one thing, it's really going to throw off that whole club. Not only does the club flex, it also bends and oscillates. So if you don't know what you're doing cutting down that club shaft, you're going to have a wild time. You may as well swing with a hose pipe. Now lastly, let's talk about the bounce of the club. Now the bounce of the club is designed to help you strike down into the turf, and it protects your wrist from breaking, it protects your clubs from snapping. Now the golf club has been in production for roughly 400 years, so you have to trust that this tool has been tailor-made precisely to swing down only for the irons. Your woods bounce is very minimal because we do not try to strike down in it, and on the contrary, we're trying to hit up on it off the tee. So if you don't understand the basic core principles of your golf club, which is a tool, you will have issues. Some of the issues that I see of not understanding this very basic concept with the irons, the students pick the club because they feel that that club looks like you have to help scoop the golf ball. The second thing I see is not enough loft is played specifically for the driver, and we see a student struggle getting the ball up in the air by falling back to add that loft with their body. So bottom line, what do you do with this information? If you're struggling with some consistency, definitely go see a PGA professional to help you with your swing mechanics. It could be very simple. However, if you have an ingrained motion and you are seeing inconsistencies because your body is trying to accommodate for your clubs, then it might be time for a basic lie, loft, and length fitting to promote turn and to promote balance. If you do not have a balanced swing and you have been playing this game for a long time, most likely you're playing incorrect equipment. I hope this information helps you. If you did like this content, hit that like and subscribe. It really helps grow the channel. And if you have any comments from me specifically, have you had any club fittings, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, fairways and greens.